Tracking near 100-degree temperatures back in the forecast. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods, and we're going to be looking at that summer heat making a return. Over the past couple of mornings, we've had this nice onshore flow, a little bit of low cloudiness even moving in from the coast towards the delta and partially in through the valley. It pretty quickly erodes until we end up with sunny skies, but it's kind of that touch of that cooler Pacific air that's been keeping us largely below average. Now Monday, I know we had that warm day with a high of 93, but that average high of 90, we're not only going to be getting closer to that, but bumping well above that by the weekend outlook. But again, it's been such a great start to our summer season. We are going toe to toe with below average and above average temperatures for the month of June. We've had 4 days of average temperatures and then 10 above and 10 below. So pretty good way to mark through this June. As far as our near average temperatures, they are going to slowly start to drift off in the distance because of this building ridge of high pressure. So for right now, we stay pretty close to average, but then by the weekend, we're going to be under that ridge, sinking, warming air. And look at how these contours change. We're saying goodbye to those below average conditions and hello to those above normal conditions by about 5 degrees or so. We're not expecting super extreme conditions for this time of year, but we will be getting pretty close to 100 for some places in the valley. We'll keep these extended forecasts going, and you can always find those weather explainers, our weather and climate specials on ABC 10 Plus. Download it wherever you stream for free on TV. Looking at our headlines, we have a light breeze coming in for the evening. Tomorrow, steady temperatures. It's not until we start looking deeper into the forecast that we get back to that summer heat. Got a lot of low clouds and fog along the coast. That will actually clear, though, for the afternoon. They've been pretty sucked in the past couple of days, but heading into our Thursday and Friday forecast, they'll at least see some partial clearing during the afternoons. It's just we deal with the low cloudiness in the morning, and then some of that retreats back towards the Pacific during the afternoon. We don't have much cloud cover in the valley, and that is going to give us plenty of access to daytime heat. There's really nothing to prevent that high pressure ridge from bringing us the warmth. So we've got that moderate heat risk kind of blanketed all throughout the valley. This is the type of heat that affects most people who are sensitive to the heat, or those that just don't have adequate access to air conditioning or cooling. It does start to become a little bit more minimized on Sunday into our Monday forecast. So Saturday's really when we get that peak heat building, and then we'll get some slightly cooler weather ahead by Sunday into Monday. It's been 25 days, though, since we've seen 100-plus degree heat in Sacramento. The last time was May 31st. In fact, that was one of 2 days that we've seen this year of 100-degree temperatures. We average 16 days at 100 or above. We actually average 4 days at 105 and above. The record 100-plus degree days that we've had, we actually hit that 3 times, 1960, 61, and 1988, and that was 35 days. So we're really far from seeing any types of records like that. But we'll be kind of flirting right around that triple-digit temperature Friday into Saturday, where we see those average highs about 5 to almost 10 degrees above average. We come down a little bit on our Sunday and a little bit cooler again on Monday. But cooling savings certainly going to be top of mind come this Friday and through the weekend. Only use fans when you're in a room. They cool people, not rooms. Set the air conditioning to 78 degrees if you can tolerate it. And then one of the other factors, since we have those really cool overnight lows, open up your windows at night, but in the morning, say right about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, you want to close the windows, the drapes, the blinds, keep that sunlight out of the house and prevent it from warming up that environment. And don't use big appliances in the afternoon. Those tend to warm up the house as well. UV index is going to stay on the high side here, so not probably a huge surprise, but you want to avoid outdoor sun from 10 to 2 if you can. Use SPF 30 and above. That will be your best protection, and seek shade as much as possible. River temperatures, they're still cold. I know we just haven't had that really intense stretch of heat to kind of warm up the surface level. So we're still in the upper 50s and upper 60s for many of these river and waterways throughout the region. Our Sierra and foothill waters are in the 50s and 60s with our Lake Tahoe temperature at 66 degrees. Our futurecast kind of playing out what's happening here. We've got that low pressure system that was bringing us that nice onshore flow, losing its grip across the west. west. And so here comes this high pressure ridge sinking warming air, and it will result in those near 100-degree temperatures on Saturday. Now Sunday, we start to see another little low off the coast, and that will help to initiate an onshore flow, little bit of a Pacific cooling breeze coming in late Sunday through Monday. That will begin the transition to kind of some on and off, up and down temperatures here. The first week of July and even a little bit deeper into July, we see that warmth kind of migrate its way eastward, likely cooler in the desert Southwest, but also likely wetter. That's about the time of year we start seeing that monsoonal flow come in, and something we'll track for the opportunity of thunderstorms in the Sierra. Highs for our Thursday forecast in the 70s for the Sierra after morning lows near 40, so it's still quite cool up there in the mornings. Highs will warm into the 80s and 90s for the foothills. Along the coast, we've got that morning fog, afternoon clearing, highs in the upper 60s. Inland areas, we're starting to see those 90s make a return, and as we dig deeper into the valley, mid to lower 90s expected for our forecast for our Thursday. So model data still kind of coming in. You probably saw those numbers change briefly there in the forecast. Our highs will warm into the 80s for the high country by the time we get to Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But again, we're not expecting much in the way of thunderstorms, which will be a much better forecast than what we saw for the first weekend of summer. For the foothills, we've got highs in the mid 90s. It's going to be pretty toasty, especially with warm overnight lows in the 70s. And then for the coast, we've got highs staying in the mid to upper 60s. That's always a great place to go if you're trying to escape the valley and foothill heat. The coast is going to be the coolest place this time of year. Our 3-day forecast, highs are in the low 90s for Thursday. The warmer days are ahead Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, mid to upper 90s. Now we see a few days next week that we bump up those temperatures, but of course we've got the 4th of July forecast on there. On Friday, a high of 92 as we celebrate our Independence Day.